In this episode, the Formula One Bahrain Grand Prix kicks off the season. Indy starts their season with a crash fest at St. Pete and IMSA BOP issues. Welcome to episode 186 of the We Are Auto Show. What's up, Derek?
Mr. Michael Rowell, F1's back.
F1's back, baby!
It's back, and it's better than, well, it's not better than ever. Let's talk about it.
It's not better than ever, but it's better.
Maybe.
It's better because there's another team that's back in contention for the second place.
Yes. What race just happened?
Bahrain, the F1 Bahrain Grand Prix. We'll give a quick little recap here.
So did you know that they ended the season over in the Middle East with, I think, Abu Dhabi? And they start the season in the Middle East with Bahrain. The Middle East. Oil money getting everywhere.
It makes you laugh. Where are the two places of the world that gives F1 the most money? It would be the Middle East and the U.S.
Seems like it right now. Seems like it.
That's like the two central areas that F1 is just completely concentrating on.
Seems to be the case.
Seems like there's three or four or maybe five, I don't remember, races in the Middle East.
It's a lot. I think it's 4. It's a lot.
And then there's 3 in the U.S.
Yes.
Meanwhile, most places have one or, none.
Right. Meanwhile, the rest of Europe is like, man, you remember when this sport used to be European? Dang.
Yeah.
They still go there, but not nearly to the extent that they used to.
Correct. But let's talk about this Bahrain Grand Prix. That's a cool picture that we're looking at there. A Ferrari with the Middle Eastern sunset.
Indeed.
Where do you want to start?
Going into the season, everyone thought that the battle up front would be between Red Bull, which we knew was going to be fast, Ferrari, which looks surprisingly fast out of testing, and then Aston Martin, who looked actually really good.
Yeah, so last season, Aston Martin was a nothing.
Pretty much.
But this season, Aston Martin is a something.
They're looking very good. And
surprisingly good.
You also had Mercedes, which this weekend seemed to admit that they're kind of just not going to be very good this year.
Again.
Which was odd.
Again.
Yeah, very odd.
Yeah.
This race basically showed us exactly what we thought in testing is exactly what happened in the race.
Yes. Red
Bull dominated.
That is putting it very lightly.
Completely dominated. It was not necessarily even close.
Is there a word in the English language that shows the slaughtering that Red Bull can do here?
No.
Because when I was watching the race, I noticed 5 laps in, Verstappen was 6 or 7 seconds ahead of everyone. After 5 to 8 laps, he was pulling a second a lap over everyone.
Yeah. And apparently in radio communications, they were also telling him to slow down.
Jesus Christ.
So the pace of that car is way ahead of the rest at the moment.
By a not even close margin.
No. Really.
Way ahead is very much understated.
The next best team would be Ferrari, which had their issues last year. They were fast last year. But as we know, the reliability was not at all there last year.
And has that changed much?
No. They DNF'd one car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I will never forget. What was it? Was it in Austria? It may have been Austria. When race engineer comes on the radio to Carlos Sainz, execute plan E. Execute plan E. And then his car explodes.
That's
explode. That is the Ferrari way as of last year.
Yeah, they continued it this year with Leclerc DNFing. Very unfortunate. Carlos Sainz looked relatively quick in the beginning, but couldn't consistently hold the pace throughout the race. I think he had tire wear problems and was actually passed by an Aston Martin, which is kind of odd.
Yeah.
But good for Aston.
Yeah. Speaking of Aston, can we talk about Aston?
Mm-hmm.
Alonso! This is El Plan. Let's go, baby.
Fernando did get on the podium. He got third place.
Yes!
which was pretty awesome to see.
When's the last time an Aston Martin was on podium?
I don't know. I can't. I don't know.
Pepperidge Farms remembers.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
So good to see Alonso on podium. And you know what? The other Aston didn't finish too bad either. Lance Stroll finished 6th. So they're both, one's high in the points, one's mid points.
That's a good run for Stroll. I'm actually shocked at that.
With like a bum hand.
Yeah, that's a good run for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
I am pleased with Aston Martin so far.
Okay, let me ask you this. Was this Formula boring?
Yes.
Are we back to Formula boring?
Yes.
Crap.
Who's going to win the season?
Yeah, we know. We know after one race.
Is there even a question? Is there... I genuinely want to know if there's a single human being on Earth that questions that Red Bull's going to win the season.
The only way is for... So we got Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes.
Yes.
And then we got... who's the other driver?
George Russell.
George Russell. I think that Lewis Hamilton takes one for the team and continuously smashes into the back of Verstappen and punts Perez at the same time. And now we have a championship to watch.
That is the only way.
I think that's the only way.
Red Bull is so much faster and more reliable than everyone. Even Verstappen was having problems with his car.
Yeah.
He came on the radio and saying something about downshifts or locking up the rear, and he's still blitzing everyone else by a million seconds.
It doesn't look like a super exciting race for the season, but all it takes is next race for a safety car to come around at the end of the race, pack them all up, watch the chaos unfold. You never know. It's only one race into the season. But at the moment, Red Bull does look very dominant.
I love your optimism, but Red Bull's going to win the season.
You're probably right.
There's not a question in my head. Red Bull will win this season as long as they don't both just spontaneously explode.
Seems likely.
Yeah. They're so much faster than everyone else. So much faster.
Mm-hmm.
They could just literally use Tesla Autopilot and win.
That's what Verstappen did.
Pretty much.
That's what it seemed like.
He woke up after the race and said, "Oh, okay. Would you like a drink?"
Yeah, there was a lot of hype for this race, and it really turned out to be kind of Formula boring all over again. If Alonso was not battling for the podium in the last couple laps, this would have been a snooze fest after lap 2.
It's going to be good to watch. What did you describe it? Formula 1.5 or Formula 2.5 or what it was?
Yeah, the Reddit boys.
Yes. What is it? Formula 1.5?
I think it's
1.5? Something like that? Yeah. Where the only Formula 1 race drivers and teams that we're concerned about is the midfield.
Right. You take out the top 3 teams and
then it's going to be really exciting.
Right.
Because you've got you got a Williams scoring points in the first race. You got an Alpine scoring points in the first race. And you've got the McLemmons not doing well.
Oof. Let's talk about some McLaren. What happened there? What a disaster of a first race.
I would be so glad to be Daniel Ricciardo right now. You're getting paid, what, $18 million a year to not drive a shitbox? Yes,
and
please.
poor Lando's over here like, oh, I got to pit every 5 laps, guys.
Oh, so the McLarens. You had DNF from Oscar Piastri. Great move, Piastri. You went from an Alpine reserve driver, which that seat was yours, to a DNF first race. Oh, round of applause. And then you had Lando Norris, which came in last place of the running cars.
Yeah. He had transmission problems. Had to pit every 10 laps to fill up some air pressure or something in the gearbox.
I feel bad because I really like McLaren as a team.
Yeah.
But oh my God, they're so bad already.
It's not good.
Their cars are not good this year.
Also, Piastri looked like he was just struggling all weekend long.
Yes.
He did not look very fast, unfortunately. No. Who's the other rookie on the scene? The American rookie.
The American actually had a decent start.
He did.
12th place in his first race, which in a Williams, which a Williams used to be an 18th place team.
And who might that driver be?
That'd be Logan Sargent.
Yes.
Yes. So the American had a good strong showing first race. The other Williams that would have been Alex Albon, and he did place 10th, so he scored a point. So a Williams gets in the points in the first race.
That's impressive. That is really good for that team, considering they struggled at the back of the pack all last season, the whole time.
Williams was a horrible team to watch. I felt so bad having even a sliver of myself that would root for a Williams, because it would end poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, there was never anything where it gave you hope. I mean, this race, Logan Sargent, the rookie, and as an American, I'm super stoked about that. He looked really racy.
Yep.
Alex Albon, he's scored a point already. Other notables here, we had Pierre Gasly. He was in the points in his first race in an Alpine.
Wow.
In his first race in an Alpine. Attaboy, well done. Valtteri Bottas, he scored points in the Alpha, 8th. Would have thought he'd be quicker than that.
Yep.
Definitely thought he was going to be quicker there. Lance Stroll, we talked about him, 6th place in the Aston. Then we also had George Russell in the points for the Mercedes, but not as high in the points as he probably wanted to be. 7th place.
Not great.
His Hamiltonness, 5th place.
That's not...
So the Mercedeses got split by an Aston driven by Lance Stroll.
You know, I think that's going to happen a lot this season, to be honest.
Ooh.
Yeah, and we talked about in the livery reveal, which was a couple episodes ago. They've still have the deleted side pods look on the...
Which, if I may add, there has been some news.
What?
There is rumors circulating that they're going to side pod it up.
Yes.
Because they're realizing how rubbish this is.
Yeah, Toto Wolff basically came out and said, like, it's not a good design. We need to change it.
Yes, this is not working.
But in F1, changing a side pod design like that is not as quick as just, like, snap those fingers and get that carbon fiber changed. It's not that. There's a lot of engineering that goes into it. So they're saying they will at least have the deleted side pods for the next foreseeable number of races, a decent number of races. And maybe like halfway through the season, they'll get a new side pod look going and a new design on the car. I don't know. They're also limited in the amount of aero testing that they can do now. Remember? That's a change that was happening.
That's right.
The worst teams, as of last year, would get more aero testing than the better teams. Mm-hmm. So that's also another knock against them. We'll see what ends up happening with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, I think we're back to Formula boring.
Formula 1 is Formula boring. Formula 1.5 is Formula exciting.
True. That's true.
Watch the midfield. Forget about the top team. Red Bull's going to win. Congratulations, Max Verstappen, on being the 2023 World Drivers' Champion. Congratulations to you here. Congratulations to Christian Horner for being the 2023 Constructors' Champion. Congratulations. But the rest of the field, that's going to be fun to watch.
Yep.
So shall we move on?
Let's do it.
Let's move on to the other open wheel series that got its start this past weekend, which was Indycar.
In our hometown, the St. Pete Grand Prix.
Yeah, St. Pete Grand Prix.
Oh, boy. What a show. Let me just start out with that. What a show did they put on?
Oh, my God.
St. Pete IndyCar Grand Prix is a street circuit where the IndyCars run every season. Actually, the drivers love coming here and doing this race.
Because it gets them in warm weather.
Right. It's a great opening spot for the season. And traditionally, they've had this as the opening spot for a good number of years now. I can't remember how many years back.
It's been a bunch.
Yeah, it's been a bunch.
Like a bunch.
I've been to this race many times. I didn't happen to go this time. But it is very cool to see them drive through the streets of St. Pete and along the ocean, the shoreline. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. They also run down a runway, which is very unique and also very cool. Mm-hmm. Now, street racing in open wheel cars means that cars are very close to barriers. And it also means that cars are very close to cars, which are very close to barriers.
Yeah.
When you put all that together, you can get things you don't want to happen in race cars happening. And what I mean by that is you can get cars flying. And that happened. That happened a couple times at this race.
Yeet the IndyCar.
Yeah, Indy cars were getting airborne, which is not very good for open wheel stuff.
Not kind of airborne. like 7-8 feet airborne. Like,
yes,
you could walk underneath of the airborne car airborne.
it was not good. There were two different incidents, two different crashes. One being on the first lap.
The very first lap.
The very first lap, the first couple set of corners, I think turn 4. They were already smashing into each other. I don't know how, but spotters, somebody didn't pick up on the radio that there was a crash happening, and somebody was just coming full tilt through a very narrow high-speed section and just plowed into the side of an Indy car. And I've never seen an Indy car get launched the way that was.
It was quite literally a punt. Like a NFL-style punt.
It was odd.
I mean, the hang time was admirable. It was a punt, like almost a quarter side punt, almost broadside. It just popped him straight up, did like a full 360. Like, this is like Tony Hawk's pro IndyCar skater, right? Pop shove it, and then landed all 4 wheels, and that must have potentially broken a vertebrae.
That had to hurt.
That had to hurt like hell. Did you see the onboard?
Yeah.
Oh my God. The impact of when he came down. Jeez.
Uh-huh. So that was incident 1. There was another incident where there was basically almost, not quite a mirror image, because this second incident got into a scenario where there was wheel contact on wheel contact in an open wheel car, so that just tends to launch the car up in the air. And
That's
exactly what
immediate
happened.
launching the car.
And another car went completely over a whole Indy car, just straight over the top of them, which is kind of crazy to see. Oddly enough, the car that flew over, I can't remember the number, it was a pink car.
That's what I'm looking for.
Continued on.
They just keep driving.
They just kept going. They came back, fixed a couple bits, and finished the race. They finished, which is crazy.
You gotta love that. Just I will continue no matter what happens.
It was wild.
What a freaking race this is. I mean, is this Crash Test Derby or is this IndyCar?
It felt like it was a Crash Test Derby. There was a couple other notable things that happened this race. The Romain Grosjean versus who was the other driver?
Dixon?
No, it was not Dixon. It was the Kiwi.
Was it?
Can't remember his name.
So
anyway,
let me
you
see.
look him up.
I'm trying to think. That's what I'm gonna look for.
Yeah, he's one of the Australian mates. He was over
Pagano.
at IndyCar.
No.
Or V8 Supercar stuff.
Who did they get? Was it Scott McLaughlin?
It was McLaughlin. Yeah.
Yeah,
Scott
it was McLaughlin. Yeah.
Yep. They were battling basically for the race win with, was it like 20 laps remaining or something like that. Went down into turn 5 or 6. I don't know the exact number, but a very high speed section where you're hard on the brakes. And McLaughlin was out on cold tires after his pit cycle. And they went side by side into a corner. And on cold tires, you slide out wide. And he happened to slide out wide right into Grosjean. And Grosjean really wanted that race win. And none of them would back out of it.
Yeah.
And they both just
I don't blame them.
went to the wall. No, I don't blame it at all.
And frankly, if you're Romain Grosjean, you are absolutely holding your line there. You are definitely not backing away. You've got you've got hot tires. He's coming up of the pits on colds. You are 100% holding your line and going around him.
Right. That was on McLaughlin. That was his fault, that crash. But that doesn't heal the wound, right? Both the cars are in the wall. Their races are over. That's
true.
That's how it works. But it was actually super cool to see because I love watching two drivers battle it out for first so hard that they end up crashing each other. Yeah. That's just entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I remember, was it last lap or last couple of laps, Pato O'Ward was in the lead and coming out of the last corner, getting onto the airstrip, he had like an overboost or something.
It was some mechanical airbox issue. I don't remember exactly what they called it.
And that bumped him from first to second.
Yeah, and he lost because of it. Yep. And who took the win?
The win went to Marcus Ericsson, a Chip Ganassi car. I did hear a stat that all of the Andretti cars got hit.
They did. They all ended up in the wall at some point.
Bad weekend to be Mr. Andretti. So, top 3. Marcus Ericsson, number 1. Patricio Award, Pato Award, number 2. And Scott Dixon in 3rd.
Yep. I do know that Ericsson, I think, was the guy that won the Indy 500 last year as well, wasn't he?
I
believe so. So that's good for him. A good Indy 500 and a good start to this season. So,
yeah,
pretty cool.
He did win. Yep.
Overall, this race was actually pretty darn entertaining to watch. One gripe I have with IndyCar, they have 2 different tire compounds, right? F1 has tire compounds. They call them soft, medium, and hard.
Mm-hmm.
IndyCar calls them primary and alternate. What does that mean?
Nothing.
If I tell you I'm on my primary tires,
Are those hards or softs?
that's the question.
Are those mediums?
I don't know.
I
After watching enough of the broadcast, the alternates, which had the green sidewalls, were the softs. Couldn't have told you if they didn't tell me that on the broadcast. And the primaries, which were the ones that they preferred to run, were the hards.
Doesn't make much sense, does it?
No.
My other gripe with Indy is that, in my opinion, the cars are so just butt ugly. It's hard to watch.
You think? Really? You think so?
I think this Indy car is just ugly.
Is it the windscreen?
It's partly the windscreen. It's partly the front wing design. I don't know. There's something about Indy nowadays that they're not attractive looking cars.
They're not the most attractive. I'll agree with that.
They're just not attractive. And
No.
frankly, street circuits are just a mess anyway.
They are. For open wheel cars, they always have been and they always will be.
I will say, one of the most exciting races that I saw last weekend was the MX-5 Cup at St. Pete Grand Prix.
Yeah, baby.
Oh my God, that's just entertaining. Oh my God.
It is some of the best racing I'll ever watch.
Watching those MX-5s just slip and slide and bump and grind and dipsy and doodle, all bouncing around St. Pete, was brilliant. Some of the moves you saw were just big, bold, I'm going to outbrake you or die.
Uh-huh.
I just love that.
You don't need a lot of speed to have really good racing. That's where like IndyCar and F1 and NASCAR tend to fail.
It is brilliant.
Those MX-5 Cup cars are not even going past 100, maybe 100.
They're like 108.
Yeah, if barely over 100, which is amazing. It's so slow compared to the IndyCar lap times.
Oh my God, it's so slow.
But it doesn't matter because it's so funny and fun to watch.
Well, I was watching it on YouTube and I just like, this is just quality entertainment. Just watching these guys, it's just brilliant.
If you love watching bump drafting at NASCAR, go watch the MX-5 Cup at Daytona.
They
were bump drafting in the entire time in Miatas, which is amazing.
At like 118 miles an hour, baby.
But coming into turn 1, just completely opposite lock.
Oh, full
which
sideways.
is perfect.
It's fantastic.
And they save it every time. Every time.
And
Unbelievable.
Every time I mention MX-5 Cup, I'm just like, it's just too much fun to watch.
I honestly think it's the best racing right now. I do. Yeah.
All right, so that's going to wrap up the Indy talk.
Yes.
Now let's talk about some IMSA talk that is some drama and potentially the start of an IMSA silly season.
All right, let's do it.
So, I am a Porsche fan.
Oh, boy.
I am not happy with the results of Daytona.
Oh, boy.
As are some of the drivers and owners of these Porsche teams. I've actually had some conversations with them on social. And Porsche got boned.
Tell me how.
Their BOP. IMSA made them run a restrictor that was choking and starving the engine of all airflow.
Uh-huh.
Causing them to be not even in the same league as the rest of the field. Not like a second off pace, but like 3 or 4 seconds off the pace.
Yeah, I think it was like 2.5. Yeah.
It was 3.
Okay.
It was 3 seconds off the pace.
Not great.
But that is not even slightly competitive.
I agree.
At that point, if you're a team owner, why are you going to spend the money to run that?
Because
why?
It's a long season.
With the hopelessness of what is happening at Sebring with the BOP, there's not a whole lot more. I believe they're getting a 1 millimeter larger restrictor, which is not going to do a damn thing.
Probably really not.
Would you like 100th of a second?
No. So I saw somewhere that Mr. John Doonan came out and gave the political speech of, yes, Porsche, we know you are upset. If you guys are super upset, that's fine. We're taking a look at all the data. We'll figure it out. This is a new car. You can't just be balls to the walls fast in a new car. And by the way, you guys won the championship. Remember, last year, chill out, relax.
Yes, but stay competitive at least.
I would like to see competitive racing. I agree.
They're not even competitive at this point.
At this point, no.
So because of this uncompetitiveness, my favorite team, right, the Wright Racing team, first form, Mountain Motorsports, Ryan Hardwick, pretty much the owner of that team, he is going hard in the paint to WEC because he got a ride for the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And that was because of his performance in IMSA the previous season. He got an automatic invite.
Okay.
So he's deciding, which makes sense from his perspective, to spend more time in the WEC and the ELMS, which that's the World Endurance Championship, as well as the European Le Mans Series, for those of you listening and not understanding the acronyms. There's a lot of letters there. But Ryan Hardwick has decided he's going to scale back his IMSA stuff, and he's going to go harder into the WEC and the ELMS because he's going to be able to race more in the car that he's actually going to race at Le Mans, and because BOP is just pointless. So he doesn't want to spend the money, which I can't blame him, to run full IMSA season and full ELMS and WEC season when only one of those is going to give him the ROI of what he's looking for. From a business perspective, it makes sense.
Okay.
And part of it is citing BOP.
I don't blame them for these decisions. But let me ask you this question, right? If all the Porsche teams pulled out of IMSA, would other teams fill their spots?
No.
I think there would be teams that would fill their spots.
I don't think there would.
Why?
Because I think there'd be enough team principal wherewithal to realize they're just going to keep doing it. Why do I want to be a part of this?
What do you mean, keep doing it?
Keep screwing people.
From
like if I'm a new team owner coming in, looking at how they've done that, I would say, ooh, I don't really want to be a part of that.
What place was the final Porsche at the Rolex 24? Or the best place Porsche?
I will tell you.
I believe that they were one lap off the lead, and I believe that it was the Canadian mates. Who is it?
They finished, I believe, on lead lap because of a lot of luck.
Is it luck or is it strategy?
It's luck.
What?
Luck.
How?
100%.
Getting your laps back is not luck. No, the FAF Porsche guys. I think that they finished one lap off the lead, and I think they were definitely in the top 10. I don't know if they might have been in the top 5. Were they in their class? I don't know.
I'm trying to look here.
Yeah. Regardless, the pace at Daytona was not great. But all the Porsche guys going up in arms, I don't think is the best way to solve this. I think if you nuke the series, you pull all the Porsches out, IMSA will gladly open up the doors to BMW, Mercedes, Lamborghini, Audi, all the other manufacturers.
But they won't, because they're already screwing BMW and BOP too.
I agree, but it's not nearly as bad as Porsche. But
it's a little less bad.
I also have not heard the team revolts from BMW.
You're not in the Facebook groups as much, though.
Are they doing it?
Yes, I've seen drivers in the Facebook groups chirping about BOP like this is bullshit.
But you also have to understand the drivers chirp about BOP all the time. That is the way of playing the game with the series. If the series gives in, right? If they say, "Oh, Porsche, here's your free win at Sebring because we pissed you off at Daytona," what do you think every other team is going to do?
But none of the Porsche teams want a free win. They just want to at least be competitive.
I agree. What they have now is not, from an outsider's perspective, doesn't seem super competitive. But we're also at the point where we're talking about like 1 second a lap time is not good. I agree. But it's not the point over a 12-hour race where that ruins your race.
It can.
It can, if it's green the whole time.
Hold on. What is the chance that you're actually going to finish top 3 with that?
Pretty unlikely.
Next to impossible.
I agree.
That would take a monumental Herculean miracle, which won't happen.
I agree.
If you're within a second of the other cars, that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
If you're 2 or 3 seconds off the pace, that's not acceptable.
No.
Like, to me, that's just straight up unacceptable.
I totally agree. I think that this is something that will blow over. I think that you'll see...
I hope so.
The first 3 races of the season will have crap BOP. And it's going to have crap BOP for all the new cars. And I think that's the standard.
But Lamborghini didn't get crap BOP, and they're a brand new car.
Do they have a brand new one this year?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's the same problem that Porsche had. They have a brand new car.
Yeah.
The latest iteration.
Mm-hmm.
Lamborghini's BOP wasn't bad. It was fine. BMW's BOP, Porsche's BOP were boned. And I'm sorry, but Mr. WeatherTech's son is racing a Mercedes AMG GT3. So who do you think's going to get the absolute best BOP?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to go to the team of the driver that's the son of WeatherTech, which sponsors IMSA. Mic drop, end.
All right, here's a solution. Porsche, sponsor IMSA.
No.
Why not?
Because that's just cheating. I don't want that. I want fair racing.
Just buy the win.
I don't want them to buy the win, like Mr. McNeil's doing. Not that I said that.
I don't think he actually... he got raced really hard at the end of that race. It was a good race.
By other Mercedes.
I agree. It was by other Mercedes. We knew Mercedes was going to be fast that whole time. Yep.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think that the way that the Porsche teams are going about this is the right way of doing it. I don't think that having a stink about it...
But hold on. Is there even a right way to do it?
I don't know that there is. I think that this is the conundrum of BOP, and it always will be this way, and there's no good solution.
Here's the way I wish they did BOP. I wish they would just simply give you a minimum weight, maximum weight sort of thing, power to weight ratio. Everything else is up to you. Fix whatever aero you want, however you want to do it. If you want to go NA, you want to go forced induction, don't care. You have a fixed power to weight you must hit. Everything else is you.
Sounds like Formula One.
That's fine.
What's it called? Formula Boring?
But not really, though.
What?
Formula One,
we just talked about it.
Yes, Formula One is Formula Boring. But I'm saying when it comes to sports car racing.
You're going to run into the same problem. You're going to have one team that's going to completely dominate, and it's not even going to be at all a race. And if it's not Porsche, you're going to be pissed. And if it is Porsche, you're going to be super happy. It's not even going to be fun if it is Porsche.
No,
they'll just dominate.
I'm not going to be pissed if it's not Porsche.
It's the same situation. There's no solution to this problem. There really isn't. But
Scrap
I don't think
the whole thing.
I don't think that creating a stink on social media and trying to like throw shade at IMSA is a good solution.
I don't think he's really truly creating a stink. The problem is people are just picking this up and running with it.
I mean, it's a press piece. He's quoted in these press articles, so like
But all he said was, quote, extremely disappointed.
Yeah, I know.
He's not saying, go to hell, IMSA and John Doonan, you suck ass.
That's on like the Reddits and Facebook groups and all that. I know. And you see other people in those that are the comments are hilarious in these threads. It's some people.
They're great.
Oh, some people are like, "Oh, this is classic Porsche snobs just being Porsche snobs." Rich dudes that are all pissed their cars can't win. It's fantastic.
It's really funny. And then there's always the one dude that just in all caps, and you can see just Boomer City. Oh, hail Corvette, brother, gobless. It's fantastic.
BOP will taketh and giveth, and that's just how it works.
Yes.
It will fix itself over time.
I hope so.
Welcome to sports car racing. It's fun. It's fun to watch. Gives you some hot drama.
Can be.
Yeah.
So that's all I got for news. There are a couple of races happening this weekend. This weekend, there's not a lot going on. Next weekend, there's a whole bunch more, though. This weekend, there is the Repco Supercars. That is the Aussie V8 Supercars. That's going to be the Thrifty Newcastle 500, and that's on a Newcastle street circuit down under.
All right.
Also, there is NASCAR. They are racing at Phoenix.
Isn't that where they end the season?
I think you're right.
Yeah. Do they race Phoenix twice?
They might.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Yes. So that's all I got for episode 186. You got anything else?
I do not.
All right. Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you're watching on YouTube, please do leave a thumbs up on the video and drop a comment. Let us know, what do you think about the whole IMSA BOP debacle? Be curious to know your thoughts. If you're listening on audio only, send us your thoughts about the IMSA BOP debacle via social. Facebook is We Are Auto. Instagram is We Are Auto _. YouTube is We Are Auto. And our website is weareauto.io, where you can go to catch some of your favorite past races. So, thanks again. Catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.